when he visited, the people that were with him, the nobility at the second time, so the people who were dukes and counts and princes, these were people that were not actually of noble blood before they became nobles under Napoleon. What do I mean by that? They were people whose parents were butchers, whose parents were farmers, whose parents were working on the land, so they did not have a lot of money. But because of their talents, they did a lot of things very well. They were very successful in the army. Because of their talents, Napoleon gave them nobility titles. He made them very rich. And this was actually the first time in European history that this was possible. Because the times before that, if you were not the son of a nobleman or the daughter of a nobleman, you had no opportunity to become wealthy. You had no opportunity to choose what you wanted to do in life. Well, Napoleon changed that. He made it possible that people had the opportunity to become not everything that they wanted to become, but they had the chance to become wealthy and to get to a position in life that their parents never had. So that's one of the reasons that I think Napoleon Bonaparte did a lot of great things. When he was here, there was a big party over there, and did you guys ever visit the Gothic the Gothische Zaal?
Chamber?
Yeah, the Gothic Chamber, yeah. You ever visited in the city? No? Well, you really should. It's one of the most beautiful chambers, like Neil says, in all of Europe. When Napoleon visited, there was a big party there, and everybody was dancing a lot. But Napoleon was not dancing. He's not a big dancer. He thought that dancing and parties were a waste of time. He thought it was much more important to talk with the people of the city, and he did a lot of that. One of the things that he talked about was, maybe in a couple of minutes you'll pass by the Westmarkt. When Napoleon was here, it was very different from what it is today. Now it's all stone, and when fish is being sold there, it's on the stones. When Napoleon became introduced to that square, they introduced him to the square, he saw that it was all in wood, not in stone. He said that's not hygienic, we have to change that. And he said you'll have to change it and make it all in stone, because selling fish on wood, it's not hygienic. Napoleon was always looking for things that could be improved. Another example is the Damse Vaart. You know the Damse Vaart? Napoleon said, well, the Vaart was not there before Napoleon. Napoleon came to visit here. He said, we need a Vaart, we need a way for big boats to be able to come all the way to Bruges. And so he said, let's make the Damse Vaart. And the people that came from all over Europe to help started digging the entire Vaart out. And now, what is the English for Vaart?
Canal?
Canal.
It's okay.
So the Damse Vaart was another thing. So two important things about Napoleon. He was always looking for things he could improve, and other things that Napoleon is responsible for is the fact that you have an official family name. Before Napoleon, there were no cities that kept all the people's official names, and so it was much more easy to change your name. Napoleon said we need to know where people live, so we need official street names, we need official house numbers, we need official names. Napoleon was responsible for all those things and a lot more. And actually the legal system that we still have today, so the laws that says what they say what you can do, what you can't do, they are still based on the Code de Napoleon that Napoleon was responsible for. Second thing about Napoleon that I said that's really important is that he was always looking for talented young people to help him improve things, and then he rewarded those people. So if you wanted to become rich in those days, you had to make sure that you went close to Napoleon, gave him a great idea or gave him some inspiration about something, and then you make sure that you got promoted and that you got all the opportunities in life that you wanted. Another thing about Napoleon, you guys see that little tower over there? Napoleon, when he was here, this little tower already was here. And he said to the people that showed him that, he said, "This reminds me of the Middle East." Why is that? Napoleon actually went to the Middle East. Napoleon when he was younger, he first started in the army because he was, of course, head of the French army. But before he became head of the French army, he was able to win a couple of wars, which made him very popular in France. And one of those wars that he was fighting was in the Middle East, where today you have Israel and Palestine. Back then you didn't have Israel, of course, you didn't have a similar situation there. But he went there, he went to Egypt, he went to the Middle East, he went fighting there, winning wars. The third thing about Napoleon, he was a great military genius. He really understood in what way fighting a war needed to be improved, and with his talents, with all his knowledge that he had, he was able to win a lot of wars until he actually lost a couple of wars. He went to Russia. There he lost a war, he had to come back, and then his empire ended. Who knows where his empire ended, in what battle? Yes, that's right, in Waterloo. That's where his final battle that he lost was fought. And unfortunately, after that, he had to leave the continent. He was exiled. The British, who actually were the leading power that beat him, they said, "Napoleon, we never want to see you back," and they sent him to St. Helena, which is a very small island in the Pacific Ocean. That's where Napoleon eventually died. But after his death, people started looking back on him and decided that he did a lot of good as well. And that's why they dug up his body, which was buried in St. Helena. They brought it back to Paris, and if you're ever in Paris, you have to go visit his tomb, because it's a very impressive tomb. I have myself never seen a bigger tomb for anybody else being built. So that's also a sign that a lot of people still think that he did a lot of good. And for our city, he also did a couple of things good. Small things like the Westmarkt, like the Damse canal.
The canal to Damme, yeah.
The Damse canal. Small things, but important things for our city. And so I think we have to be thankful to Napoleon for the things that he did, because a lot of those things are still making sure for us that we can enjoy his decisions that he made. So I hope by that I told you a couple of things about Napoleon that might have been interesting. If I was Napoleon myself and I would have the honor of meeting all you, then I would now give you all a present. And the present that Napoleon always gave was a little golden bee. So the bee, you know, a bee, he gave a little golden bee, and the symbol of the bee is a symbol of working hard. So he always wanted to remind the people that it's important to work hard. I'm not going to remind you of that, because you already have a great teacher who will make sure that you're reminded of all the things that are important. So thank you for this opportunity to talk a little bit about Napoleon. I hope you will find him interesting, and if you want to learn more about him, there are great books about him. And in a couple of months there will be a book about Napoleon visiting Bruges, which is written by a couple of people from Bruges. I know a couple of those guys.
Bert Gevaert
is
yes.
one of them.
Henk van Zeeuw?
Yeah.
Yes.
So might be interesting for you guys to check that out if you find this interesting. Right?
All right, give him a round of applause. Thank you.